So we are back. Yay. I owe you all so much conversation, topics, things I've been thinking about, things I've been noting, and even recorded videos that I kind of already have but never posted. But those are drive time gems. Those are drive time gems, not legacy and lifestyle. I mean, I guess it's part of legacy and lifestyle. But anyway, my point is it's not a sit down chat like this. So in my defense, there is no excuse. Anyway, I brought tea this time. So in here we have loose leaf tea. It's a diffuser and it has blueberry and hibiscus in it. And I have a specially brewed pot for us today because we got some stuff to talk about, baby, and we need some tea. Okay. Today's topic is that community doesn't just happen. Community doesn't just happen. It doesn't just pop out of anywhere, right? It's not necessarily about the community in itself that I want to talk about, but actually about what it takes to have one and to be a part of one. Because one thing I find myself constantly reminding people of is that community doesn't just happen. It doesn't just pop out of nowhere. Think about some of the strongest communities that we have. A lot of them emerge from deep culture, shared beliefs, religion, traditions, ethnicity, or simply years and years of people intentionally choosing to stay connected to one another. Communities birth out of these things, right? And it only stays alive as long as people continue to continue choosing to stay connected. So being West African and coming from two wonderful West African countries and being born and raised in the South from Atlanta, I've seen a lot of different versions of community. And I've also served in leadership capacities in different communities that aren't even intertwined or aligned with one another. So I've experienced this from different aspects, right? And one thing that I keep seeing is that people will leave a community, barely participate in one, and then start reinserting themselves when it's convenient to arrive and they have a list. What is on this list? Complaints, demands, expectations, things that they feel entitled to just because they can relate to the community. Why don't we have this? Why are you all not doing this? This used to be like this. And something that I always wonder when people are talking to me about this, whether they're coming to me as somebody who's on the team, leadership, part of the community, or just a fellow member of the community, right? What I always wonder is what this individual has contributed to this community that's coming to talk to me. So we're just going to focus on those who haven't. Like sometimes you're talking from a place of frustration because you have contributed and it hurts to see that the impact that you and your generation, friends, family, whoever put towards the community is falling through the cracks. That's one thing. That's a whole different conversation for a whole nother day. And I understand that because I've personally been there myself. But for those who have not, let's focus on that for just a second. I'm not trying to say this in a judgmental way, right? Because I genuinely think that there are some people who were never taught what it means to be a part of a community. And sometimes we look at what our parents had or what generations before us built, and we think, I want those benefits. I want to be able to do that. I'm so proud to be a part of something that was birthed out of, right? But we don't think about what those people had to sacrifice or contribute in order for those benefits to even exist. So we're expecting a similar output with half the passion, half the effort, a quarter of the money, if then, and then about 6 people doing all the work. How? How does that work? When it used to be like a shared equity and responsibility amongst community, households, groups, whatever that had their shared contributions, responsibilities, and delegations and all showed up. How? So like one of the biggest things that I learned while I was president of When We Will Unite Atlanta chapter was that complaints themselves aren't necessarily bad, right? But one of my rules while I was president was that if you're going to bring us a problem, which we hope that you do, please bring us a problem. Like I literally added surveys to the end of every general body meeting just so we can have active data as to what people are feeling like and how what we're doing is impacting them positively, or like if they want to give constructive feedback. So yes, please bring us your problem, but we want to also hear your suggestion of a solution. If you're experiencing the problem, then who best to initiate the solution than you, right? And I'm really happy I did that because when we did the surveys and people were telling us what they liked and did not like and what we needed to change, we had a part at the end of the survey where people had the opportunity to tell us what they thought we should do about it. And you know what happened? People gave us their ideas, people gave us the solutions. They would even come and talk to me about it in person. And that's where we got people who ended up being a part of our committees that we started that year, being leaders in the committees, and some of them eventually even joining the board in future years because they realized that the work is a lot heftier than we thought, and we want to be a part of the solution. And I love that. So I think we need more of that because you can't refuse to participate in a community and then feel entitled to everything the community is supposed to provide you. Supposed to, right? Community is not a subscription service. You don't pay your membership, your $10 a month or $100 a year so that somebody can just create belonging for you. And that's another thing. A lot of people feel like they don't belong. They don't have that sense of belonging in the community, but they don't participate. You don't go to events. And when you do, you sit in a corner and talk to yourself. You're part of the products of the community, right? So your participation matters, your presence matters, your contribution matters. That's another point. Community is not always going to be convenient either. Again, not a subscription service. We are human beings and we are flawed. We're going to disappoint each other. We're going to annoy each other. We're going to hurt each other's feelings sometimes. And there will be seasons when you feel like you are giving a lot more or even a little bit more than you're receiving. Somewhere along the way, I think we've lost our ability to stick with things when they become inconvenient. That's one thing I believe that our parents' generation got well. Like there's a recipe there that they understood till today. And that, I don't know, we're losing it. We're losing it. Like, because they understood that they weren't just building community for themselves, but it was always about the community that their children can grow up in and be able to walk into later down the line, which a lot of us do have the opportunity to, but don't take it. That's a whole nother conversation on its own. So we've inherited some of these communities, these organizations, these traditions, these relationships, but sometimes we want the inheritance without the responsibility of maintaining it. And baby, that is not how this works, especially when it comes to commitment. Commitment. A lot of people will raise their hand and say, I will do it. I'll volunteer. I will lead. Put me in a committee. Then as soon as it gets inconvenient, poof, Houdini, they're gone. They're gone. And it's even worse when you try to hold them accountable to the commitment that they say they want to do and they were doing what they want to do. And they become angry. How dare you expect me to do what I say I'm going to do to keep this community alive? And how dare you not expect me to continue to benefit from this community that I've abandoned and disappointed? All right, I'm going too far. But y'all get my point. That's not how community works. That's not how we build and maintain community and have something left for our children to be a part of. Especially when now I'm speaking to my Africans, my West Africans, my Nigerians, because I know one thing we know how to do is gather and have an organization and create and build and maintain a community. Except I feel like our generation and generation after myself, we're struggling a bit to understand what it means to keep and protect a community. If we want strong communities, we need commitment, we need volunteers, we need people donating, we need people sharing, reposting, we need people showing up, we need leadership, and most of all, we need accountability. Everybody has different capacities. I understand. And I'm not saying everybody has to give the same amount, but give something. And I'm not talking about one organization. Like, yes, I was president of UIU Atlanta, and yes, I may have a lot to say about that experience because I was so proud of that experience, to be honest. So I understand that everybody has different capacities. So I'm not saying to give everything, but give something. Because what blows my mind is like when I'll see people who don't volunteer, don't share, don't repost, don't show up, don't do anything, but then they will come to the events and be like, why is there no ice in my drink? And my suya is a little bit cold. Can you call, can you call, can you call? Auntie, Oga, madam, shift a bag. And when I don't even pay them any mind, hey, Ama is this, Ama is that. Excuse me, my week is shifting from running around all day to make sure that you have a nice, comfortable event with food and drinks. And you're coming to talk to me about ice. But my point is, sometimes you have to put equity into the community that you're expecting to benefit from. So your equity might be your money, your time, your expertise, your connections, or volunteering. Like all you can do at least is just consistently show up. If that's all you can do, right? Is consistently show up. That's fine, but invest something. If you truly do care about community, if you truly do want to benefit, if you truly do want it to stay alive. So I feel like we've gotten a little too comfortable with believing that inconvenience automatically means something isn't for us. Or sometimes your inconvenience is because you're part of something that's bigger than yourself. And if we want these communities to still exist tomorrow, and we want the next generation to experience the belonging of support that we benefit from, somebody has to build them, somebody has to maintain them, and that somebody is us. So before you ask what your community is doing for you, maybe ask, what am I doing to make sure there's still a community to benefit from? Anyway, that's enough blabbing for today. Remember, it is your legacy, so live it.